Yulia Klimenko, a member of parliament in Ukraine, who joins me from a bomb shelter in Ukraine. Ms. Klimenko, I hope all is well. I hope you are safe. What's the latest situation on ground in Ukraine right now, ma'am?
Hello, thank you for hosting me. Yes, we do have 2 days of a terrible Russian attacks to basically civilian infrastructure. So yesterday it was a big attack to Poltava, the city, in which was killed at least 50 people were killed and more than 200 were injured. Today at night we have a terrible strike on the residential homes in Lviv, in the western region of Ukraine, and it was at this point of time we know about 7 people killed, and including 3 kids, and more than 50 people injured. So it's absolutely barbaric attacks, and it's against civilian infrastructure and civilian population, not on the battlefield.
Okay.
That's how we live. We are living every night in bomb shelters because we have airstrikes, and unfortunately our kids sitting in the bomb shelters, and we also sitting in the bomb shelters during these missile attacks. So that's how we live every day. So that's actually a peace made by Putin. So it's his way of peace. He sees.
Okay. Yulia Klimenko, several ministers have quit today. We are told some more are on their way out in the next 24 to 48 hours. In midst of this conflict, President Zelensky is talking about new energy and new diplomacy. Is this the best way forward during conflict in your country?
No, I don't think it's the best approach. I think stability inside the country is one of the front lines we have to keep, because we need to fight on a battlefield, not inside the country. And I think reshaping and reshuffling of the ministers is not the best way how we can improve state management. So today, actually, Verkhovna Rada, Parliament of Ukraine, took resignation and voted for the resignation of 4 ministers. Now we have 22 out of 22 ministers in the cabinet of ministry. We have 5 acting ministers and 4 fired ministers, and only 13 ministers who is really ministers. And this is a very bad situation for the country in a full-scale war, because we need to take decision every day. I hope tomorrow we will talking in the parliament. We will talking about the appointment of a new ministers, and then the cabinet of ministry will be finally reshaped and can work properly for the one big purpose, and goal is to get victory on a battlefield and get peace to Ukraine.
You know, you speak of getting victory in the battlefield, and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been seeking longer range weapons. He's been seeking missiles and fighter jets. But what's your response, and what do you think that the response of your Western partners has been? Has it been rather lukewarm?
Yes, at this point of time, unfortunately, even after these terrible, tragic attacks on a civilian infrastructure past 2 days, we still don't have any permission for the long range use long range weapon to target military bases and military targets of Russians on their territory. We need it badly, because otherwise we cannot win war. So you cannot win war if you cannot respond to your enemy and to their military bases. They are destroying not military bases inside Ukraine, but I would like to point they are destroying civil infrastructure, and we need to protect civil infrastructure and civilians in Ukraine. It's very important, and we can do it only by long-range attacks to the military bases of Russia.
But do you sense some kind of reluctance? Is fatigue setting in with slow delivery of weapons and systems? You're not getting the weapons and systems at the pace at which you want them.
No, we don't see it. We have packages approved. Yes, in general, they are going and coming very slowly, but in general, so they are dedicate and to the approved packages. The problem is only in delivery of fighter jets and delivery of long-range missiles and a weapon.
But are missiles and weapons and fighter jets the only way forward? Is President Zelensky on the right track, or is there now need for some dialogue between Russia and Ukraine, perhaps a ceasefire first to save lives and property?
You know, if Putin wants ceasefire, he shouldn't destroy infrastructure, civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. So what we can see at this point of time, that Putin doesn't want peace, and Putin doesn't want peace deals and negotiations. He just need to proceed with taking lives of Ukrainian kids, destroying our homes, and we don't see any signs of Putin willingness to talk about peace.
Okay, because this war has been on for over 900 days. Is there an apprehension post-November, if President Trump returns to White House, will support for Ukraine be adversely impacted in your view?
I don't think it will be immediate and a big change because I mean, you know, in US it's institutions working very properly. It's not depending only on one leader who is elected. It's also about institutions, and I think it will be a new discussion with a new coming president, but I don't think that the policy will change overnight.
Okay. And the strategy that's been adopted by Ukraine, before I let you go, I just want to understand from you that Ukrainian forces have made this very audacious attack into Kursk, and has that made you more vulnerable along the Donetsk axis? Because there are some reports that seem to indicate that Ukrainian defenses seem to be crumbling on that front.
No, I don't think so. We actually, as this operation on Kursk, were properly planned, so we have enough troops on both directions. But unfortunately, because of the lack of weapon, we cannot. Sometimes we cannot sustain, particularly long-range weapon. We cannot sustain Russian machine, which is has a lot of weapon, and they do not care about civilians, do not care about civilian infrastructure, and killing people without any reason. So it's very difficult to sustain with this barbarian type of war.
It's very difficult to sustain the kind of operations that Ukraine is. You stay safe, Yulia Klimenko, for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks.